Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Cheating Story. A man begins to notice red flags in his wife's behavior. He wants to know the reason, and what does he discover? Hi, my name is James, and I'm going to tell you my story of revenge. The moment when I found out that my wife was cheating on me was one of the most difficult experiences I've ever had. It happened about 8 years ago when my wife was working in a firm. She had a typical office job, working from 9 to 5. Despite my desire for her to pursue a business career where she could be her own boss, my wife disagreed with my suggestion. I was pleased that she was happy with her job. My wife and I had a friendly relationship where we freely discussed the happenings in our lives. She would divulge all the juicy details of her day, from workplace gossip to disagreements with colleagues. I, on the other hand, was not as forthcoming, but being with Lisa encouraged me to open up. I started sharing the mundane aspects of my life, so our daily routines became synchronized. Our mornings began with an early walk together. Despite Lisa not being a fitness enthusiast, I encouraged her to prioritize her health and join me on my daily exercise routine. Following our morning workout, I would prepare breakfast for us while Lisa readied herself for work. We enjoyed a meal together before Lisa headed off to work and I prepared for my own day. In the evenings, Lisa returned home at 5 o'clock and took charge of dinner preparations, as I typically arrived home around 7. Together, we shared a meal and engaged in conversation while watching television. On weekends, we ventured out to restaurants or took in a movie. On occasion, we organized weekend picnics and even ventured out of town to indulge in new experiences. Neither of us felt emotionally ready to have a baby, and we were content with the way our lives were going. However, our blissful existence was short-lived, thanks to my wife's actions. One day, upon my usual return home, I was surprised to discover that Lisa had not yet arrived. I checked my phone for any messages or notifications, but there was nothing. This behavior was uncharacteristic of Lisa, and I began to worry that something unexpected had occurred. I hoped that it was not an emergency or accident. I tried calling Lisa to inquire about her whereabouts. On the second attempt, she answered and disclosed that she had become preoccupied with work and had lost track of time. She promised to return home in 30 minutes. Although it was peculiar, I decided to let it slide. I proceeded to enter the house and prepare dinner on my own. Anticipating Lisa's tardiness, I boiled the pasta and began concocting the sauce. After an hour, I heard the front door open, and Lisa entered the kitchen, embracing me with a hug. She apologized for her delay and explained that her workload was heavier than usual. I reassured Lisa that her tardiness was not a significant issue, and she proceeded to freshen up while I prepared the dinner table. As she descended the stairs, we shared a typical meal, yet something felt off in my mind. Despite my intuition, I disregarded it. A week later, upon my arrival home, Lisa approached me with a sense of urgency. She wrapped her arms around me, planting a kiss on my cheek. I inquired about her behavior, and she revealed that she had recently received a promotion at work. I congratulated her with a smile, acknowledging that my understanding of her job was limited, given my role as a businessman. Given the timing of Lisa's promotion, I found it peculiar, but I attributed it to her tireless efforts. After all, she had been arriving home late frequently due to her work commitments. My naivety, trust, and unwavering faith in my wife were evident, and it never occurred to me that she may have received the promotion through other means. I did not question the circumstances, and instead expressed my jubilation for her achievement. We commemorated Lisa's success by dining out that evening, and her elation brought me great joy. A few weeks later, I finished my work earlier than usual, and I decided to surprise Lisa by picking her up from work. She typically relied on public transport as she had not acquired her driver's license. Upon arriving at her office, I was informed that Lisa was not present. This was peculiar, as it was not her usual off time. I approached the security guard stationed outside and inquired if he had seen Lisa leave. He disclosed that she had departed with her boss in his vehicle. I was uncertain where they had gone, and the guard was unable to provide any additional information. Although I was tempted to call Lisa and inquire about her whereabouts, I hesitated, fearing the response. I proceeded to return home and brewed myself a cup of coffee. Lisa arrived at 6 o'clock and appeared shocked to see me there. She inquired about my arrival time, and I revealed that I had returned home an hour earlier. I asked about her day, and she shared that it had been frenzied at the office, as she had been occupied with organizing files and reviewing documents throughout the day. I contemplated if Lisa had gone out with someone and probed her about it. She appeared bewildered and refuted the notion. I decided to change the subject, but my mind was preoccupied with the reason behind her falsehood. The security guard had informed me that she had departed with her boss, so why did Lisa have to lie? What was the purpose of her rendezvous with him? My thoughts were consumed with these questions, and I could not shake them. Over the next few days, my suspicions mounted, and I became increasingly apprehensive about Lisa's behavior. While spending time with Lisa, I couldn't help but notice her constant texting on her phone, even when we were together. I observed that she received numerous late-night texts, which made me curious about who was contacting her at such an hour. Despite my desire to inquire, I remained quiet when it was time for us to sleep. The incessant messages and notifications seemed to have caused Lisa to become less open with me. She no longer shared things with me the way she used to, which made me feel distant from her. Consequently, I found myself reverting to my closed-off demeanor from before I met her. Lisa's behavior was causing me a great deal of pain, as it had taken a considerable amount of effort and courage to open up and be vulnerable with her. Her demeanor was pushing me back into my shell, which was disheartening. What hurt me even more was the fact that I couldn't tell if Lisa was aware of her actions or if she simply didn't care about me. Although her suspicious behavior persisted, I didn't have the energy to confront her about it. One day, I arrived home before Lisa and decided to grab a glass of water and unwind in the kitchen. As I walked towards the sink, I noticed a piece of paper on the floor near the dustbin. As I bent down to pick up the paper and throw it away, my eyes caught sight of the contents, and I was taken aback. It was a receipt from an abortion center with Lisa's name on it, and it was dated just a week ago. I recalled that Lisa had mentioned visiting her sister around the same time, but now I couldn't shake off the feeling that something was amiss. I carefully put the paper in my pocket and drove straight to the abortion center. After some probing, I discovered that Lisa had indeed undergone an abortion. The news hit me like a ton of bricks, and I couldn't help but wonder if the child was even mine. Even if the child wasn't mine, the news still deeply saddened me. The fact that Lisa had kept it all hidden from me made it worse. She had eliminated me from her life entirely, but still kept me hanging on. I was still her husband, but it felt like I was nothing to her. The heartbreak was unbearable. That night, for the first time in our marriage, I came home drunk. I didn't even want to go home, but I had nowhere else to go. When Lisa opened the door at 10 o'clock, she appeared concerned, but I couldn't tell if it was genuine or just a facade. When Lisa asked me where I had been, I simply shrugged and ignored her questions. I wasn't going to indulge her with an answer. The following day, I woke up feeling angry and upset. Lisa was downstairs making breakfast on a Sunday morning. As I went to the kitchen to get some water, I expected her to create a scene, but she seemed to be acting normal. She didn't say anything to me, didn't get angry, and didn't even inquire about what had happened the previous night. Instead, she greeted me in the morning and informed me that breakfast would be ready in 15 minutes, to which I nodded in response. After drinking the water, I went to the living room to lie down, my head spinning from the hangover. Lisa set the breakfast table and called my name, and we ate in almost complete silence. As she was about to get up, I stopped her and asked why she hadn't mentioned anything about the previous night. Lisa gave me a smile, but it wasn't her usual warm and affectionate one. It seemed forced. She explained that it was the first time I had shown up drunk, and she didn't want to make a big deal out of it. It's okay for a man to drink sometimes. Her words sounded more indifferent than supportive, leaving me with the impression that she didn't care about me or my well-being. Although I wanted to express my feelings, I forced a smile instead. Lisa offered me an aspirin without me asking, which puzzled me. However, my mind was still preoccupied with the fact that she had concealed her abortion from me. A few weeks later, Lisa had an informal office party at her boss's house, and she asked if I wanted to join her. I knew she had asked with the expectation that I would decline, as I had a habit of turning down party invitations. Normally, I wasn't one for parties, but this time I said yes. I was curious to see if the party was even real, and if it was, what was going on between Lisa and her boss. Lisa was surprised when I agreed to go, but she feigned happiness. She picked out my clothes, convinced that she had better fashion sense than I did, and we got ready together. Lisa looked stunning as she emerged from the room in a slightly revealing dress. But I had never objected to her clothing choices before, so I had to play it cool this time too. I praised her and expressed how stunning she looked in that dress. She smiled back, acknowledging my comment. She complimented me, saying that I didn't look too shabby either. After that, we decided to go to Lisa's boss to check on her. I acted ignorant and pretended to be lost, but to my surprise, Lisa knew the route like the back of her hand. I was taken aback, but Lisa quickly explained that she had learned all the main routes in the city, which is why she didn't drive. Taking cabs became a convenient option for her. I managed to hide my frustration and put on a smile. Once we arrived at her boss's house, we entered a grand mansion. It was apparent that he was wealthy, which made me wonder if that was what attracted Lisa to him. The garden was stunningly adorned with flowers and lights, and the place was already bustling with guests. We made our way to Lisa's boss, who was accompanied by his wife. We presented our gift, and his wife graciously thanked us. The conversation between Lisa's boss and me was extremely uncomfortable. He kept making peculiar compliments to Lisa, which seemed off-putting. The atmosphere didn't feel right, and talking to them confirmed my suspicion that they were having an affair. The party became the most unpleasant experience of my life. While sitting at the table, my wife got up to greet someone. After a while, I looked up and saw her talking to her boss again. They were laughing, and he was behaving inappropriately by touching her. Lisa didn't intervene or put a stop to it. I had had enough. I stood up and approached Lisa, requesting that we leave as I was experiencing a headache. She agreed, said her goodbyes, and we headed back home. During the drive, I couldn't help but contemplate making a permanent decision regarding our situation. It was becoming unbearable, and I was purposely causing myself pain by not ending our marriage. I knew it was time to act. Upon arriving home, I was exhausted and went straight to bed. But I found myself unable to sleep. The thought of divorcing Lisa consumed me, but I was still lacking concrete evidence of her infidelity. I knew I needed to catch her in the act, which led me to devise a plan. The next day, I started working on the details and informed Lisa that I would be out of town for the entire weekend due to a business proposal. Although I knew she would decline, I still asked if she wanted to accompany me. As anticipated, Lisa declined my invitation, citing work obligations. As the weekend drew closer, I packed a bag for 2 days and acted as if I was going on a business trip. However, that was not happening at all. I contacted Lisa and my family, informing them of a surprise weekend gathering. To make it even more enjoyable for Lisa, I invited some of our friends. I knew that she wouldn't pass up this opportunity. Before departing on Friday, I noticed Lisa packing my lunch and took the opportunity to check her phone. I opened Lisa's chat with her boss, hoping to uncover something incriminating. As anticipated, Lisa had invited him over that evening, so I informed everyone to come to our house in the evening. When 6 o'clock rolled around, I made my way to our home. As expected, her boss's car was parked in our driveway, and tears welled up in my eyes as I realized I was on the verge of losing my wife and marriage. However, I quickly composed myself and wiped away my tears as our families arrived. I greeted them with a smile. I informed everyone that I was waiting for them to enter the house to surprise Lisa. Slowly, I unlocked the front door with my keys and asked everyone to remain quiet, as it was meant to be a surprise. We proceeded inside, making our way upstairs. As we neared our bedroom, we could hear moaning and groaning sounds emanating from the room. Everyone appeared astonished. Upon entering, we caught Lisa's boss in the act of having sex with her on our bed. It was a terrifying sight, and Lisa couldn't find words, stuttering in horror. Without uttering a word, her boss hastily put on his clothes and left. I didn't stop him. I held no grudges against him, as he wasn't the root of my troubles. It was my wife's actions that had caused this mess. I walked away without glancing back, even when Lisa attempted to reach out to me. Though I anticipated tears, I felt nothing. No anger or sorrow lingered inside me. In the end, I filed for divorce and sent the papers to Lisa. The mere thought of speaking to her or catching a glimpse of her face disgusted me. I wanted her out of my life completely and permanently. They say it's challenging to let go of someone after being together for an extended period, but for me that wasn't the case. The agony of knowing my wife was unfaithful had extinguished any lingering emotions within me. The hurt and tears had lingered for so long that I eventually became numb to them. My heart had morphed into stone, devoid of any love for Lisa. Oddly enough, I didn't harbor any anger towards her, since I was the one who ended things, which brought me a sense of tranquility and satisfaction. Nevertheless, Lisa persistently attempted to reach out to me through various means. I promptly blocked her number and all her social media accounts. She even resorted to contacting our mutual friends, but I chose not to retaliate. My main priority was to safeguard my peace of mind, and the most effective way to do so was by cutting ties with my ex-wife. Sometimes when people wrong you, it can make it easier to move on and leave them and their misdeeds behind. Wow! Did you like this story? Leave your opinion in the comments. Subscribe to my channel. I'm saying goodbye to you. Bye-bye.